people talking for the Bitcoin, strategic reserve or strategic stockpile. And so this narrative of Bitcoin as digital gold really grabbed hold. That got Larry Fink involved. It got central banks involved. What's unique about crypto is so many people in this space, this has been their obsession, and they just don't sell. Mm-hmm. We have clients or know of people that have giant piles of Bitcoin, and they are not parting with their coins. They see their net worth in how many Bitcoins they have, not in how many dollars they have. We are going through the largest wealth transfer in the history of the world. We're in a really weird political populist on the left, populist on the right. Right now I said that there are $2 trillion of cash bills, a lot of those in hundreds stored in pillowcases in, countries where the stewardship of the government is so bad that the citizens are worried that their hard-earned labor is going to evaporate. And so they've traditionally kept it in $100 bills. As that switches to stable coins or Bitcoin, but let's just talk stable coins, great. As that switches to stable coins that pay interest, which are happening overseas already, better.
Today we saw the announcement by Donald Trump for a strategic crypto reserve, with Bitcoin at the forefront of investors' attention. After seeing a significant drop recently, Bitcoin is on the verge of a major shift in price, currently sitting just below $93,000, up over 10% in the past week. Mike Novogratz gives us an update on Bitcoin and the crypto market, and why BlackRock is about to bring in a new army of buyers in 2025. With BlackRock being one of the biggest players to get into the space, this will be the least of our concerns, as entire countries are now coming for Bitcoin. Novogratz points out that just 1% of BlackRock's portfolio will open this floodgate to the tune of hundreds of billions of dollars in institutional capital. When this happens, he says we'll witness a 400% increase in Bitcoin alone, targeting a $150,000 price, so we could see the biggest crypto surge yet in just a matter of months. Let's get right into the latest interview with Mike Novogratz, as he gives us his crypto price predictions and timeline for Bitcoin and what we can expect in the days and weeks ahead.
I was really focused on getting to 1,000, and that's what I saw. I actually said it in the FT in October of 2013. There's an article. It's the only time I was on the cover of the FT. Fortress's Novogratz says Bitcoin is a great investment, and
yeah,
I can flash that when people call me a coiner. I can flash my article. It got to 1,000. Chinese were buying, and I remember really wanting to sell because I could buy a jet, and I've never had a jet. And our third partner was like, "You're crazy. You can't sell this." And we didn't buy it to make 10x our money. We bought it because it's going to be, much higher. One day you'll build a library. Forget a jet. And he actually bought a bunch of Bitcoin on Fortress's balance sheet, which in essence blocked me from selling. Because I mean, if legally I could have sold, I would look like an asshole if I'm selling as one of the partners and the company's buying. And so, and like I thought, it went from 1,200 back to 200.
It didn't come back up until, that was like 4.5 year bear market.
But I tell you what, this is a true story. I know in every bone of my body, if I had sold at 1,000 and when it went back to 200, I'd have bought a tiny amount. Once you start the process of selling, it's easy to keep selling. And so I'm not saying you shouldn't sell any. I wish I had all my Bitcoin I started with. I don't. That jet's very expensive.
Yeah.
Look back on it. But it's really interesting how hard it is to hold these things. And so what's unique about crypto is we're finance guys. And so while Dan's probably got more of a religious zealous around this thing because he told the story more, I love this space, but we're still finance guys that grew up understanding markets. So many people in this space, this has been their obsession, and they just don't sell. Mm-hmm. We have clients or know of people that have giant piles of Bitcoin, and it's almost irrational that they don't diversify, and they are not parting with their coins. They see their net worth in how many Bitcoins they have, not in how many dollars they have. I think it can replace gold just through adoption, right? We are going through the largest wealth transfer in the history of the world, and they're going to pass that money to the next generation, right? As that happens, I mean, my kids, their friends, my younger kids and their friends, they're online people. And so digital gold is going to be better than gold for them. So I just think that's a natural progression that happens with time, right, and adoption. You got to keep orange pilling people, and then it's going to be Bitcoin relative to gold. And so, gold's market cap is, I looked at it, 16 trillion, and Bitcoin is, 2 trillion, a little less than 2 trillion. And so there's kind of 8x, right? You get close to $1 million.
It doesn't feel like it's that far away, really.
And that could be 10 years, right? I pray it doesn't happen in some ways faster, because if you would see a hyper acceleration of Bitcoin, you would only see it because you would see a hyper devaluation of the dollar. And when you see what happens to countries whose currencies become toilet paper, right? Civil society breaks, rule of law breaks. I mean, you could just point to Venezuela or, recently, or Zimbabwe, or what's happened in even Turkey, Nigeria. You really don't want to live in a country whose currency is plunging.
I have a $1 trillion bill from Zaire on my desk, right? So that can happen.
And I don't think we will use Bitcoin to buy our Coca-Cola or fancy T-shirts, sneakers, or nice black dress shirt you got there.
Thank you.
I don't. I think we use stable coins. And again, we're in a really weird political populist on the left, populist on the right. And so we'll see. I'm praying for Scott Bessent.
Yep.
Novogratz confidently predicts that explosive growth is looming on the horizon, as BlackRock and many other crypto giants are doing just that. Novogratz reassures that a long-expected surge awaits.
What's also interesting is you're going to see, the same journey that every crypto person takes. They start with Bitcoin, they understand it, and then they move into Ethereum, and they start figuring out what stable coins are, and now meme coins. They look into the space. It's just going down the rabbit hole was the original expression. Institutions and governments are going to do. And, right now I said that there are $2 trillion of cash bills, a lot of those in hundreds stored in pillowcases in, countries where the stewardship of the government is so bad that the citizens are worried that their hard-earned labor is going to evaporate. And so they've traditionally kept it in $100 bills. As that switches to stable coins or Bitcoin, but let's just talk stable coins, great. As that switches to stable coins that pay interest, which are happening overseas already, better. And so it's not just a kind of an intellectual game. It's a life-changing thing for people to be able to, in the Gambia or Zambia or Venezuela, take their hard-earned labor, convert it into a dollar or a Bitcoin, get paid interest on it, stake it if it's Ethereum, and actually have financial inclusion on your phone. Even in places like the US, where our payment systems work pretty well, so I think we're going to see less payment adoption here because, Apple Pay's pretty freaking good. We still have a ton underbanked. And, if we start cracking that door open, the efficiency gains, are going to start accruing to people that traditionally get screwed, right? There are $8 billion a year in banking overdraft charges. All of that goes to poor people. And so there is something very progressive about this libertarian movement, right? I always thought crypto was as much progressive as libertarian.
I think so.
Because it's supposed to bring access with less friction to the masses. I don't care if you're a Bitcoin maximalist or an Ethereum junkie. We all got to cheer for Bitcoin right now, because without Bitcoin going up, I think the confidence in the rest of crypto is going to be more shaken. Even though in the long run they might have very little to do with each other, and Bitcoin has the bigger community and the simpler story. Right? The story of Bitcoin really is a macro bet against debasement of currency. I think it's a macro bet on the debasement of currency. It's just a simple story. It's digital gold. And that story has been sold. People believe it. There is a community of people that are willing to work really hard to sustain. And so I kind of think Bitcoin's easier.
The crypto market is poised for a meteoric surge in prices. He illustrates Bitcoin's current undervaluation, drawing in investors and enticing speculators eager to ride the waves of September's price fluctuations in pursuit of profits. Novogratz's outlook is fueled by the impending wave of mass adoption, which he believes presents an unparalleled opportunity to get in on the action. He sees the race toward a six-figure price target set to unfold in just under a year. What's more, he highlights the intriguing historical pattern of Bitcoin's value surging 10x with each halving event, hinting that 2025 could catapult Bitcoin to an unbelievable $150,000. He asserts that the promises made by the Federal Reserve and central banks have been hollow, leading to excessive money printing and a proliferation of poor investments. And with the aftermath of the recent inflation surge, Novogratz says this will not lead to a return to the status quo. He argues that the economy has spun out of control, with the US facing a mounting debt crisis. Kaiser presents two bleak possibilities: hyperinflation or a deflationary depression. In either scenario, the overall quality of life deteriorates. He notes the absence of viable solutions, indicating an even greater severity of the crisis. Interestingly, he points out how political figures are discussing Bitcoin as part of a potential solution, marking a shift towards a Bitcoin-centric financial framework. What do you think about Mike Novogratz's prediction for Bitcoin, the crypto market cap, as well as the institutional capital pouring into the space? Comment down below. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more content just like this. We'll see you in the next video.